Welcome to the Professional Winner Podcast. I'm here with my main man, my brother Gabe. What's up, Gabe?
What's up?
Yo, Gabe, introduce the special guest we have today, man.
You see, we have someone special, someone you met a little bit further down the line from another path that brought you here, actually. But someone who's actually in his own stadium, someone who's at the top. He's like a gladiator, you know? It's like up or down, like, you know? Anthony MSG, we got him in the building. We got him in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Right next to the Brooklyn Nets stadium.
Yo, chill. We're not going to do that. Yes. We're not going to do that. We still Nick no matter where we go.
It is kind of ironic that I am right next to the Barclays Center. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on the show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So, Anthony, we're going to start it off very, very simple. Tell us who you are, man. We want to go back to diapers, man. Tell us who you are. Tell us about yourself, man.
So my name is Anthony Donahue. I was born November 17th, 1983 in Jacoby Hospital in the Bronx.
Oh, wow.
Hold on.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know you was from the Bronx.
I didn't know that either. That's crazy.
We from the BX. Yo, that's why we get along so well. So well. Birthday coming up soon?
On Thursday, November 17th.
Happy early birthday, man.
About to be 39.
Hey.
That's amazing.
Yep.
39 still running 30 miles. Let's get it. All right, my fault, man. I had to interrupt for the Bronx. Keep going, man.
So I'm from Co-op City. I live in Co-op City now. I was born in Jacoby Hospital. I lived on Duncan Street, which is in the North Bronx, from ages 0 to 8.
Dang.
Duncan Street's predominantly Jamaican neighborhood. Then when I was 8, I moved upstate with my grandparents.
Nice.
Because my mother was on drugs. She was doing a lot of heroin and many other things.
Dang.
And I moved upstate. I didn't meet, my dad was not in my life. I didn't even know his name. Then I went upstate to the Catskills. And then I came back to this Bronx when I was 17. And I've been back since 2001. And that's my story. Show's over.
Hey, this is the end of the Professional Winner Podcast.
That's it.
All right, man.
That's a brief 45-second synopsis.
Yeah, we're basically twins, but I'm just darker than you at this point.
But I do consider myself a dark-skinned white guy. You know?
You're from the Bronx. You grew up in the Jamaican area. You one of us, man.
That guy's got the same beard.
Word up.
Yeah. It makes sense why I always see you at Co-op eating Italian food now. City Island,
City Island, Bronx Neck, Mars Park, great Italian food. Sometimes I go over to Arthur Avenue, but if you don't really need to go to Arthur Avenue. Yeah. You know, Arthur Avenue is very touristy. It's cool. It's not too far from where I live, but Throgs Neck, Mars Park has great Italian food in the Bronx. Also, some places in Westchester.
Nice.
So yes, I do eat good.
So you're Italian.
Italian and Irish.
Yes. Nice, man.
Yep.
Yeah. You cook good?
I never really learned to cook.
Got you.
Just one of my regrets in my life, and I'm not saying I wouldn't be willing to learn. I just, I always got cooked for.
Yeah.
My little sister actually cooked for me. She learned to cook when she was like 10, 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Being on my own, I get a lot of meal preps and probably do go out to eat a lot.
Hey.
So a lot of people may know you from a couple of things, right? Yeah. Very viral Humans in New York story, the face of the Knicks from the public standpoint. Yeah. So we're going to get into all of that, but I want to go back to the childhood, and I want to, go in as much detail as you feel comfortable about. Yeah. And I know a lot of people feel like they know you, but we have a lot of time here. Yeah. We don't just have 10 paragraphs.
For sure.
So tell us about, how rough it was growing up in the Bronx and, some of the things you had to battle with your family.
Yeah. So I grew up in the Bronx and I always had my grandparents and, I had my uncle, my aunt. My mom was running around being crazy. She worked back in the day, even before I was born. She was working and playing in a band, actually, at CBGB's, famous club down on Bowery. So she was always running wild. Dang. And I was in the Bronx. Actually, my first love was hockey, believe it or not.
Wow.
I played in the hockey league over at Waterbury Park when I was in 3rd grade.
Nice.
I always was surrounded by a lot of love, with my grandparents. They raised me. And, it always hurt that my mom wasn't around at all. And then in the summer going into 3rd grade, I really liked trains. My grandparents took me upstate to go on a train ride in the town of Arkville, New York. And at the time, my grandparents just retired.
Yeah.
So we go upstate about 3 hours away. We go on this train ride in the Catskills. And on our way home, I mean, I vaguely remember I was going to third grade. It was like July, August 1991.
Dang.
My grandparents like, yo, we're moving up here. And for the next year, once a week, every 2 weeks, we would drive up to the Catskills. And they found this town called Walton, New York. And the summer after third grade, 1992, I went from a school with black kids, white kids, Russian kids, Hispanic kids, Asian kids. I moved upstate to a bunch of blonde-haired kids with blue eyes and Brads and Joshes.
And how was that experience, man?
Oh, it was great. I loved living up there. I would never live there again. I left right after high school.
Yeah.
But to be so young, to have so much freedom. I had no freedom living in the Bronx. I can't go ride my bike to the corner.
That's true.
One time I did actually, and a couple kids pushed me off the bike and took it.
Dang.
So you couldn't do that in the Bronx. The best thing about moving upstate early in my childhood was basketball hoops had nets. Bro, that was a game changer for me. Basketball hoops had nets, and that was amazing.
Yo, that's so sad, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's that Bronx story though. You know, like
I never played with a net before.
Yeah.
Damn.
But it was great moving up there. You know, like I said, I moved there with my grandparents. At that time, I mean, my mom was down in the city. She had just met. So my mom got married around 1989, 1990-ish to a guy named John. They were married for about 8-9 months. They got divorced, and then she met Dorian not too much after, and they ended up getting married a year later, a few months later, whatever the case may be. Yeah. Who ended up being my sister's father. So I was upstate. You know, I didn't know who my dad was. I didn't know his name. Didn't know where he was. That probably really didn't start affecting me until my teen years, though, I would say. Or, 11, 12 years old. Because I'd be like, wait, all these other kids have dads. Even if, like, their parents are split, where's my dad? You know, and that really bothered me because I had my mom's last name. And on the birth certificate, it's just blank. So sometimes, you know, people would say, even to this day, people say, well, what happened the night you were born? Well, motherfucker, I don't know what happened when I came out. I don't remember that shit. I've heard stories from that night. You know, he was apparently kicked out of the hospital because he was on heroin. Him and my mom were dated off and on, I think, for about 2 to 3 years. They met at CBGB's back in the late 70s, actually.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Dang.
Now, you mentioned your sister, Gigi.
Yep.
She's more famous than everybody in this room.
Yeah.
Beautiful soul, beautiful story. Talk about the transition of coming back, you know, and being with Gigi and me and your sister and doing all these amazing things.
So now it's I had to go back to the end of summer 1998. I was in 10th grade and I was visiting the city for the week. I was staying with my uncle. So every time I'd come to the city, I'd stay for a few days. Sometimes over the summer, I'd stay for a week or two. Yeah. And I'd always get a hold of my mom. Remember, this is the late 90s. So there's maybe cell phones. There's no texting. There's no, nothing like that. So my mom would live in apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment all the time. So I'm in the city. It's late August 1998. The Yankees were on fire. The NBA was actually in a lockout. Just to give you a perspective of what was going on around that time. Damn. So I got a hold of my mom, said, I'm going to be in the city for the week. Can you take me school clothes shopping? Boy, I love to go to Fordham Road or Southern Boulevard. Get the flyest gear.
Talk about it, man. Talk about it.
She would take me school shopping. So at the time, she was with Dorian, married. I knew they were in some funny business, but I didn't really know to what level. So now, I think my uncle got a hold of my mom the night before, late August night, 1998. So, I'm going to work on, let's just say it was Tuesday. Let's say it was a Tuesday, right? I'm going to work, so Anthony's just going to, I knew where she lived. She lived over around Westchester Square. My uncle lived in Morris Park, not too far. So, I'm going to work. Anthony's going to be at your apartment at 10, 11 a.m. Cool. My uncle goes to work, and I walk over to my mom's apartment on Westchester Square. Knock on the door. I hear noise. I hear yelling. Nobody's answering. I just want to go school clothes shopping. I want to hang out with my mom too. Yeah. All of a sudden, she answers the door, and her and Dorian were just strung out on heroin. Strung the fuck out. And my mom was like, "Who are you? Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm your son. We're supposed to go school shopping." And she's like, "I don't even know who you are." Damn. So I went running home, got back to my uncle's apartment. 10, 15 minutes later, I called him at work, and he came home right away to be with me that night. Sure enough, the next day, my mom and I actually hung out. And she did take me school shopping the next day. And ironically, the next night we went to a Yankee game, me and my mom. Crazy. Nice. And actually, David Wells took a perfect game into the 7th inning with two outs.
Wow.
So anyway, the reason I'm sharing that is because about a month later, I was coming back to the city for another Yankee game. End of September, did the usual, called my mom. My mom had a cell phone. I didn't. Again, it was 1998. So I was in 10th grade. I called her. I was like, hey, I'm coming down to the city. I think it was a Thursday. I'm going to the Yankee game Thursday night. Maybe we can get lunch Thursday or breakfast Friday morning before I head back upstate. Oh, I moved. Well, where'd you move to? And she moved all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking she moved to a different neighborhood. She moved to Vegas.
What?
Her and Dorian moved to Vegas.
That's crazy.
I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess I won't see you. A few months go by. And I get a call from my mom. I want to say it was around Christmas time. And she's like, now mind you, I'm not an expert on female reproductive issues, anything like that. My mother was about 40 years old and doing heroin almost every day.
Oh
she calls me and she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what? At this point, I know my mom has a drug problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, dog, it's most likely hard enough for a woman to get pregnant late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
And you got pregnant when you're doing drugs every day.
Damn.
Like, holy shit. And I'm like, she's like, you're going to be a brother. I'm like, wow. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I was just like, I'm numb.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But then around February 1999, March 99, my mom moved to Florida. She went from Vegas, the Bronx, to Vegas to Florida.
That's a big move.
Yeah. A big move. Goes to Florida. G was born August 16th, 1999.
Wow.
I did not meet her until November of 1999. I went down to Florida. I met her.
Yeah.
I fell in love with her pretty quick. And then I say I was with her for 3 or 4 days in Florida in November of 1999. But I went back home to Walton. And I was like, wow, I have a baby sister. But I'm like, am I going to see her much? Because she lived down in Florida. All of a sudden, a few weeks later, my grandmother was like, we need to get them up to Walton because I know my daughter's not capable of raising a kid.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to get them here.
Yeah.
So right before Christmas 1999, Dorian, my mom, and G drove from Florida, West Palm Beach to Walton. My grandparents got them an apartment across town. And for the first time in my life, I was around my mom every day. And I had this 4 or 5 month old sister. And it was the coolest thing, man. Cause I'll be honest, babies always kind of scared me or whatever.
Yeah.
I never really touched any. So I didn't really touch a baby until I met my sister. And especially when the first time I met her, that first 3 or 4 days, I really didn't touch her too much. I would just be like, what's up? You know? Yeah. But when she came to Walton a month later, I couldn't take my hands off of her. Like I loved it. It was the most amazing thing. And then all of 11th grade, so my mom got an apartment, her, Dorian, and G across town, 5 minutes from where we lived. It was really cool because my mom was mother of the year for this. She would buy me and all my friends alcohol.
Wow.
It was great. But listen, she did drive everybody home.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
That's why I said mother of the year. She drove everybody home. Nobody drove drunk. Just for the record.
Dang.
So it was awesome. 11th grade was the time of my life because I'm around my mom every day. My mom is pretty cool, actually. And we're partying. And we would have parties in my mom's apartment. It gave us a safe place to hang out, me and my friends. I'm not saying it was right, just for the record. I by no means saying it was right.
Yeah.
But it was fun. But I was around my sister every day, and it was really cool. And then fast forward to February of 2001, Dorian, he didn't seem like he was too into my sister, her dad, and he bounced. Said he was going to visit his mom in, I believe, Virginia.
Yeah.
And took off, went to Texas. And
Wow.
literally, to make a long story short, he never looked back. And went to Texas, left my mom out the blue, left G out the blue, and my mom was kind of left alone with my sister. I graduated high school a few months later and moved back to the Bronx.
Dang.
And then and my grandparents left Walton. They got the apartment in Co-op City where, they passed away, a long time now. But, I have the apartment. And my mom, it was me, my mom, and G moved back to the Bronx in July of 2001. And I was back in the city. I loved it. Loved being back. Like I said, as much as I love Walton, I wasn't going to stay there. And then September 2001, 9/11 happens. I ran from the building falling. I was working in the mailroom at my uncle's job. I was only 17 years old.
Wow.
I ran from the buildings falling, went through a lot with that. And then around 2004, 2005, my mom relapsed. So she was clean. She probably stopped doing heroin when she found out she was pregnant with G. to about 04, 05, where she relapsed and got back on heroin for the next probably till 2011. She has been clean 11, 12 years, but which is great. It's a major accomplishment. Yeah. So she got back on heroin around 04, 05-ish. And I was doing a lot with G between her being born and 4 years old. But when my mom got back on drugs, like I was doing a lot more, you know. Like I took her to school every day. I'm 20 years old with my baggy clothes, my baggy Stephon Marbury jersey with my tape up with the Il Guido haircut. You know, and I'm taking my sister to school every day. Dang. And to be honest, it was the coolest thing ever. It was awesome. I loved it. And I loved it. It was great. I loved every second of it. Yeah, man. So eventually you take full custody of... So I never had full custody legally. Okay. Which is fine. It didn't matter. I didn't need it. But yeah, I would say that's the way the timeline worked. About 06, my sister moved in with my grandmother and I, and my grandmother was in a wheelchair, so she couldn't get around much. So around by 06, I was basically literally doing everything with my sister. I mean, there was other people that helped too. My aunt played a big role in my sister's life. My uncle played a big role in my sister's life. But by 06, I was literally doing everything. But I never really thought about it. I just did it. Yeah. You know? It was your heart, man. That's your sister. Yeah, exactly. You just did it. You know, people would always say, you know, how'd you do that? I'm like, it was easy actually. But for a lot of people, it may not be. Yeah. For me, it was. I loved her, and that was it. I did whatever I had to do for her, you know? Just don't bother me when the Knicks are playing. That's it. She understood that or not? Yeah, but she still bothered me. So take us to that moment, you know, where you find out, you know, G is going through what she's going through, and you know how that affected your family, how that affected you. So remember, G beat cancer the first time. So it was back. Explain it to the audience they never heard the story before. Yeah. So it was back in 2010. We'll take it to about May 2010. It was G's 10, 11 at this time. G's 10. Okay. My mom is living in like a halfway house. So it's basically me, my grandmother, and G. And it was about May 2010. And I remember it was the middle of the night, and I heard G throwing up down the hall. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, whatever. She probably just fucking ate too much. Yeah. But it was happening a lot the next few weeks and the next month. Like, she's always throwing up. I'm like, the fuck? And I'm like, is she making it? Or she's a young girl. Is she making herself throw up? She's trying to lose weight. I have no idea. Like, why is she throwing up so much? So around early June 2010, I bring her to the hospital. And they admit her. They said she's dehydrated. So I'm like, cool. Fucking pump her with fluids, all this shit. Yeah. And she's fine for a week or so. All of a sudden, same thing happens. She starts, you know, throwing up all the time. Never really complained of headaches too much, which is ironic because her cancer was brain cancer. Bring her to the hospital a second time. They say the same thing. You know, she's dehydrated. Okay, whatever. Pump her the fluids. Now it's mid-July 2010. 2 months later, same shit's going on. And I take her to Jacoby. And I was basically like, y'all motherfuckers are going to admit her, you're going to give her a bed, and you're going to diagnose her with something. Because I am not a doctor, but I know for damn sure this kid should not be just drinking a sip of water and vomiting. Yeah. So sure enough, they admitted her. Gave her a bed. It was a Wednesday night. I had to tape a show for the Knicks blog radio that night. So I went home. Uncle stayed with her till about 10 o'clock at night. My uncle left the hospital. I went back to Jacoby. I stayed the night with her. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Now on Friday, they tested her for everything in the book. They even gave her a pregnancy test. Wow. I was like, why? They gave her every test in the book. She was 10, mind you, 10 years old. Gave her every test. So it was Friday during the day, I think, and I wasn't around. I was doing something, and my uncle was there. And he calls me, and he says, so you're doing MRI on her brain this evening. They think she could have brain cancer. So I'm like, brain cancer? The problem's obviously in her stomach. She's throwing up. He's like, I don't know. That's what they said. All right, cool. Well, I went back there Friday night, stayed the night with her. We're going to get the results of the MRI Saturday afternoonish around this time. I wake up Saturday. Actually, I remember the Yankees won that Friday night. It was the first game they played after George Steinbrenner died. Wow. I have for the people that are listening, watching, I have a really sick memory. So for life events, I usually equate it what was happening in sports. So
I
like
just realized that.
So that Friday night,
there's a reason why you are who you are.
Yankees won in a walk-off hit, and it was the first game they played since George Steinbrenner passed. So now it's Saturday morning. I wake up at the hospital. I go, G, I'm gonna go home and shower and change. I'm gonna go play some basketball. I'll be back at like 2:00. She's like, okay, cool. Because when you're taking care of somebody in the hospital full time, you do need to leave sometimes and go go for a walk, go for a run, go play basketball, do what you love. Yeah. For even if it's for just 2 hours. So I go play ball. I'm at Waterbury Park. My uncle calls me. He went back to the hospital during the day. He goes, hello, what's up? He's like, the results of the MRI came. My uncle's got this Italian shit where he's like, you don't talk on the phone if it's important. Yeah. So he's like, I can't talk on the phone. I'm like, motherfucker, what are the results? He's like, we're not talking on the phone. Mind you, I'm 10 minutes away anyway. Yeah. He's like, they found brain cancer. I'm like, what? I rush back to the hospital, and me and my uncle meet, and I'm like, at that point, I'm only 26 years old. So I'm like, does she know yet? And he's like, no. So we both go into the room, and we tell her that she has brain cancer, and she's hysterical. I'm hysterical. And that night we got transferred down to New York Presbyterian Children's Hospital, where that would become my life for the next 2 years. I went from being 26 years old, about to, go out all summer. I was in really good shape. I was about to go out all summer, hit the bars, meet some girls, have some fun. And now I'm living in the hospital. I stayed there every single night. And then all of a sudden I'm in these meetings where these doctors are using words I couldn't even dream of spelling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was my life. And then that was my life for the next year and a half, nonstop being in the hospital, tons of chemo, radiation in Boston. And to make a long story short, February 13th, 2012 comes after so much chemo, radiation, multiple, surgeries, brain surgery. February 13th, 2012, they said she was cancer-free.
Wow.
And that was one of the best moments of my life. And we celebrated every year on February 13th. Every year, that was a national holiday.
Wow.
Every year we did something cool on February 13th for 7 straight years. Whether it's go to dinner, just do fun things. One year I had her be a ball girl for the Knicks, although she hated it. I did that more for my childhood dream. Yeah. She hated it. Yeah. She liked the Knicks, but she hated that. Yeah. She hit with a basketball by J.R. Smith and got knocked out.
What? Got knocked out?
Yeah, she retired.
He was off the Henny.
Wow. Yeah, he shot a half-court shot during like an hour and a half before the game. Yeah. He shot it really high.
JR was off the Henny, man.
And it hit my sister in the head.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she retired because she didn't want to do it.
He didn't sign a jersey or something for her?
I'm not going to get into that. He did not. Oh. And my sister, to say the least, my sister's ball girl career ended pretty quick. Yeah. She did go back out when they announced the starting lineup. She was next to the players and all. And she liked that. Yeah. But she did not want to go near a basketball. So every year for 7 years, we celebrated on February 13th. It was a very, very special day.
Yeah. What is that day? What do you do that day now?
Now that day is a very difficult day. Yeah. Because it's that was the day we celebrated, and then the cancer ended up coming back. So it's funny when in the middle of her second brain cancer, it was like early February, and G said, "Are we celebrating this year on February 13th?" And I was like, "Honestly, G, we can't, but we're gonna have a new date." Of course, that new date never happened, but I was like, "We're gonna get a new date, G." And she was like, "All right, cool." She was always so motivated, and then I guess, then it was October 2019. Yeah. She's in remission now, 7.5 years. The one thing with my sister was that, if she sneezed the wrong way, I had to call the hospital. So in remission, you're always going to checkup still. You're always having, you have an MRI. I'd say the first 3 or 4 years, MRI 3-4 times a year. Then maybe it's 1 or 2 a year. You're still having constant doctor's appointments, stuff like that. So, like I said, if G sneezed the wrong way, I got to call Eileen, our nurse practitioner. Yo, G sneezed the wrong way. Oh, get her in for an MRI. So you always had to be cautious. Yeah. For me, I'm healthy, so I could be sick in bed for a week and no one's really, you're not really that worried. Yeah. But G, you got to be extra cautious. So now It's October 2019. And it was a Sunday night. The Yankees lost in extra innings to the Astros. I went upstate the night before, hung out with some friends I hadn't seen in a while. Some funny stuff happened upstate. So I get back to the Bronx Sunday evening. I was like, yo, G, some funny shit happened upstate. And G was a night owl. I was not. Mm-hmm. So G was like, what happened, Ant? What happened? And I said, I'll tell you in the morning. I'll take you to breakfast. She said, all right, cool. So I knock out. Most nights, I knocked out on my couch, and G would be up till 2, 3 in the morning watching TV. Wow. And then G would wake me up, then we'd go to bed. She'd go to her room, I go to my room. Same thing happened on that Sunday night. G wakes me up at 2, 3 in the morning. She goes to her room, I go to my room. Mm-hmm. Now about 2 hours later, I'm sound asleep. I'm tired. I was upstairs the night before. I had some fun. G walks to my bedroom, and she's like, Ant, I feel funny. So to be honest, I'm kind of cranky. Like, why you feel funny? What do you mean you feel funny? Yeah. She's like, I don't know. I just feel funny. I think I want to go to urgent care. And I said, I don't. And also, mind you, G always felt something for 7 years. It was always, and she had every right to. You know, it was always my head hurt. She had hip surgery in 2013. So it was always like my head hurt, my hip hurt, my back hurt. My this hurt, my nose hurt, my ear hurt. So like her saying she felt weird in the middle of the night and wanted to go to urgent care, to be honest, was another moment of G just not feeling well. Yeah. So I was like, well, G, it's 4 in the morning and I don't think urgent care is 24 hours. I was like, do you need to go to the hospital? I'm in half asleep. She's like, I don't think so. I said, all right, well, go back to bed. And then if it's, you know, if you feel weird at 8 in the morning, we'll go to urgent care. All right, Aunt, cool. I knock right back out. All of a sudden, my phone's ringing. I'm like, who the fuck's calling me? I look, and it says my sister. She's in the next room, which shows how tired I was. I was in a deep sleep. Yeah. I run to, I basically get up, run to the next room, just 2 steps. And I said, yo, G, you good? What's the deal? I'm always kind of a hard ass on her, in a funny way. Yeah. Like, G, what's up? And I can't get up. Can't get up? Like, G, get the fuck up, get up. Mm-hmm. And I can't. And then I know she starts slurring her words. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother had a stroke in front of me when I was in 9th grade. But my grandmother was a grandmother. Like, not saying strokes are supposed to happen, but like it's way more common for someone in their 70s to have a stroke. Children don't have strokes. Rare. I mean, you're very rare, right? Yeah. So I'm like, she's acting just like my grandmother. I'm like, fuck it. I called 911 right away. I said, you need to get here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, gee, stay there. We got this. I remember the first thing I did was I jumped in the shower. I kept the door open. I jumped in the shower. I said to myself, this is about to be a long day. So let me throw on some clean clothes. By the time I got in the shower, the paramedics were there. They pulled me aside. They said, like, does she do drugs or anything? I said, no, not at all. They're like, well, she's having a stroke. I'm like, what? So rush her to the hospital. First place we went was they bring her to the closest one, which is Einstein in the Bronx. And at that point, they were, they said, thank God I got her in time with the stroke. Had it been a few more hours later, she could have died right away. So anyway, we get to the hospital and where's your main hospital? I said, New York Presbyterian. Okay, it's only 20 minutes away. Do you want her transferred there? I said, absolutely. Go to New York Presbyterian. We're a Presbyterian now. It's like 8 in the morning now. Only 8, 9 in the morning. I mean, so much just happened since 4 a.m. Yeah. So now we're in Presbyterian and we're in the adult hospital right now. It felt like there was 100 doctors in a room. Right now, she's basically unconscious. And they grabbed me and said, listen, Anthony, you need to go to the waiting room. So they bring me to the weight room, about, 5. And I remember I'm in the weight room and I'm hysterical. I am just bawling my ass out. And this older Hispanic woman just came and she just held me. She's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Even though she had no clue what I was crying about. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, a nurse or a doctor comes and finds me. Like, Anthony, your sister needs brain surgery. So I'm like, okay, like next week? And they're like, now. Like, you need to sign like a DNR. I'm like, brain, like now? And at this point, nobody in my family knows anything. Everything happens so fast. I'm like, brain surgery? I'm like, yeah. I remember I said, do whatever the fuck you have to do to just keep her fucking alive. You got it. Sign the paperwork. And remember, I texted my uncle and I just said, call me. I didn't say like what happened. I was like, just call me. And he was up late watching the game too. So we're all big Yankee fans. He must have, so now G goes into surgery about 9 a.m. My uncle must have called me about 10. He's like, you know, he's all fucking joyful and shit. He's like, hey, what's up? How was upstate? And I was like, you need to get to the hospital. And G had a stroke. He's like, what? So he, you know, he comes down to the hospital. G's in surgery. So I left the hospital just to go for a walk. I met one of my best friends. My friend Jason lives right up the street from the hospital. So while G was in surgery, the people at the hospital were like, hey, go for a walk. Get out of here. It's going to be 3 or 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So Jason comes and meets me. We go up to his crib, just have some lunch, and then finally went back to the hospital like 3, 4 o'clock. She was, you know, surgery was over. She was completely unconscious. They said the surgery went well. Like they basically saved her life, you know. Yeah. And so now it's about midnight. My uncle left already, just me and my sister. It's midnight. You know, all the tubes are in her. And I remember that I was gonna stay the night. And I remember one of the nurses and doctors like, hey, Anthony, go home. Come back in the morning. Like, go home. We got some sleep. I was like, nah, I can't leave her. Nah, just go home. So I did. Because I got 10 years history with the hospital. So I went home, came back in the morning. She probably woke up a day or two later. And her whole left side of her body was paralyzed.
Wow.
And so now, but she was in great spirits.
Yeah.
She was in amazing spirits.
And that says a lot about who she was.
Yeah. So
and why the world resonated a lot with who she was.
So I'm thinking it's just going to be this stroke. So it's a major hiccup in life, but you know, a year from now, 10 months from now, she'll be walking again and the stroke will be a thing of the past. So we're trying to figure out, you know, where is she going to go to rehab? You know, is she going to go this place, that place? And now Eileen is like, you know, we have to do MRI on her brain. I'm like, fuck. Like I knew. And even though I know nothing about like cancer causing the stroke, but now I do. Yeah. But I was like, something's going to be there. I knew. So now they said they couldn't do the MRI till her brain, the swelling goes down from the surgery. Finally, the swelling goes down about not for like 10 days. They finally do the MRI. They do the MRI on like a Thursday. It's kind of funny how history repeated itself on this story, by the way. So keep a note here with my uncle in a bizarre way. So they do the MRI on Thursday. You know, I'm there, blah, blah, blah. So now Friday, I told G that week, I said, I'll see you every day, but Friday and Saturday, I'm super busy. I'm hosting an event at the Barclays Center for the Knicks Nets game. Yeah. 70 plus Knicks fans I'm bringing. Wow. Saturday night, I'm hosting for the home opener at the Garden. So I said, Friday and Saturday, I literally might only pop in and see you for 5 minutes. You know, call me whenever, but the next 2 days, you may not see me that much. Cool, no problem, Ant, do what you gotta do. So now it's Friday evening, and I rented out a bar across the street from the Barclays Center to have a pregame party with Knicks fans. So I did the MRI like Thursday evening. So I didn't know if we'd get the results Friday or Monday. So now, again, kind of the way history repeated itself, I'm at the bar Friday night. I'm super stressed. You know, G just had this stroke. We're waiting on MRI results. And now my uncle calls me like 4:45, 5 o'clock. What's up? Literally 9 years later. And he's like, got the results of the MRI. And I was like, all right, what's up? Would you believe it? 9 years later, he said the same thing. I'm not talking on the phone. Now this time, yeah, it's funny. It's funny. You can laugh. It's funny. Yeah. This time,
it's not even funny. It's just culture. It's like no matter, even though you've been through this, it's like it's who he is.
Right. So now this time, I'm 9 years older. The first cancer, I was in charge, but not the way I was in charge 9 years later. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
You know, I'm like, motherfucker, what happened? And he goes, they found a cancer. Now, we didn't know how bad it was. He just goes, they found cancer again. And I said, all right, don't tell G. I'll tell her Sunday. I said, because tonight and tomorrow I'm too busy. So now I go back to the party. I had that phone call outside.
Damn.
I go back to the party. I'm fucking hysterical. I remember a fan came up to me because they all knew about the stroke. Yeah. Like, Ant, are you okay? And I don't even know who it was. It was just a fan that came to the event that night. And I go, I'm hysterical. I'm like, they found the results of the MRI and it's not good. And he was like, you know, we got you back. So, you know, the Knicks, of course, lost in the final seconds.
Damn.
Kyrie Irving hit a jumper to win the game. Saturday, same thing. I'm super busy. I pop in the hospital for like 2 minutes. Like, yo, G, what's up? I got opening night tonight, but I will be I'll be back, you know, tomorrow. I'll spend the whole day with you Sunday. So I told my uncle, I don't even know if he went on Saturday either. I was just like, you know, don't say anything to her. I'll tell her Sunday. So now it's Sunday, and it's me my uncle and G in the room, and I was the predominant voice. And I'm like, they found the cancer. They found cancer again in your brain, but we did this 9 years ago. We're going to do this again. I was hysterical, but G was like, okay.
Soldier.
She's like, okay, Aunt. All right, cool. So now I didn't know how bad. We didn't know the type of cancer it was yet. I just thought it was the same brain cancer that she beat back in 2010 to 2012.
Yeah.
So I get a call from Eileen Sunday night. Anthony, we need to have a meeting tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Okay, I'm there. So I wake up Monday morning. I went to work out at the gym before I went to the hospital. And honestly, I was in a good mood. I mean, good enough mood you can be for the situation.
I got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
And I'm just
Positive.
like, because I knew it was about to be a long year again.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we did it 10 years ago. This time's going to be a little harder because she can't walk. But fuck it, we out. Like, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
She beat it before, we'll beat it again. I get to the hospital, and I'm in a chipper mood. I'm smiling, I'm happy. G was in a great mood too. What are we going to eat for lunch later? Like, we're in a good mood. We got to have this meeting first. Mm-hmm. So our main doctor, Dr. Garvin, was away at a conference, I believe in London. So somebody was kind of like taking his place for the meeting, although he works there too. I forgot his name. But so now Eileen is walking towards me, and Eileen's very chipper, like very rambunctious, bubbly personality.
Yeah.
She's like, hello, Anthony. I was like, what's up, Eileen? How are you? She's like, we got to start this meeting. I'm just like, what the fuck? So now in the meeting was Eileen and this other doctor. He spoke, and I said this in the Humans of New York story, and this is not a joke. He spoke and delivered his words just like Christopher Walken.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, man, it was weird.
Yeah.
So now he starts the meeting. He's like, thank you for being here. It was me. So my sister did not wanted to be in the meeting. And I said, G, you're not allowed in the meeting. Mm-hmm. And then Eileen was like, Anthony, she's 20. She's allowed to be if she wants.
Oh, damn.
And I said, all right, G. So now the meeting starts. And this is where my body got hot. So the guy, Christopher Walken starts talking. He's like, thank you for being here. And we went through the MRI and we found a brain cancer. So I'm thinking it's the same one as 10 years ago, and we're just going to beat it again. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this cancer is very, very serious. And when he said very serious, that's when I was like, my body got hot and I ran out of the room. And I just started right before I ran out of the room, my sister actually said, has anybody ever beat this cancer? And he said, I'm afraid not. Mm-hmm. And that's when I ran out of the room and I punched a wall. I was hysterical, crying. And Eileen came running after me. And then the doctor came out too. And I remember as I was hysterical, I said, what's the life expectancy? And he said, I'm afraid about 9 months. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
And Eileen was like, get back in there with her. I get back in there with G. And I'm just like, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. And G was like, I just want lunch. She's not even crying. She's like, I just want lunch. I went and got her lunch. And I called like 5 people outside. I was gone for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And G was blowing up my phone. Where the fuck are you? Where's my lunch? And we fought it though. Like, we did radiation all of December. Mm-hmm. I brought her to a second opinion at Sloan, but Sloan said they wouldn't have done anything different. So we didn't go to Sloan. Like, there was no point. We did all we could. And then, she passed on August 29th, 2020. And she never gave up. She never quit. The last 3 months of her life, she never even got out of bed once. But she never complained. Yeah. All she wanted was some pizza or some salami. She never complained. And even, I had my back hurt a lot that summer. And if I was in the room, I'm just giving you one of many examples of how amazing and selfless she was. If she noticed I was limping, she would call the nurses on the thing. Mm-hmm. Could you bring me a heat pack and a cold pack? Sure, G, what's wrong? Well, Anthony's sore.
Wow.
She's dying. And she's like, Anthony's sore.
Yeah.
But she fought it. We never spoke about death once. Because we always talked about, what we're going to do when she got back home. But obviously, I knew she was never going to go back home after, she went back to the hospital for a final time in June of 2020. And then she passed away August 29th. So we got to be home for a few months, but it was during COVID. I don't even want to talk about that stuff. It's just too blah. But she fought to the very end. you know. And then when she passed away, I wasn't even in the room. I left the room for 5 minutes.
Damn.
To go outside. And when I got back to the room, I was almost mad at her. I was like, how could she pass without me being here? And the nurses and doctors were like, who they've known us 10 years.
Yeah.
They're like, Aunt, you think she was going to die in front of you? Like, she waited for you to leave the room. You know, and that gave me a lot of closure as far as at least that moment. I'll never have closure of losing her because it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to see the child you raised pass away.
Yeah.
It's just not part of life, but sometimes it is. But, you know, people always say that I saved G's life, and, you know, maybe I did sometimes, but she saved my life. And I'm the person I am because of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she made me grow up really fast. You know, to be 20 years old, you know, bringing her to school every day and doing that all through my 20s and 30s and bringing her to college and doing everything. But, like, I miss her so much. And, you know, it's so difficult, but I do my best to live every single day. And I do my best to feel the emotions I need to feel. So I don't run away from the pain.
Yeah.
I actually take the pain head on. Because I feel it's important to deal with it. And I deal with it every day. There's not a day that goes by I don't shed a tear. Some days it's for 30 seconds. Some days it's for 2 hours. And, you know, this week is exceptionally tough, being that I just ran the marathon. And, you know, I know she was there spiritually, but, you know, she wasn't there. The reality is she wasn't there. And I know she would be, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and my birthday is this week. And she always took my birthday very serious, mainly because her brother's kind of a drama queen. So I always made my birthday like a national holiday. So I'm not sure if G really believes it or she just played into it for me. Probably a little of both.
Yeah.
Because, like, she was an old soul. She didn't care about social media. She didn't care about her outfits like her big bro. You know, like, she didn't care about that stuff. Yeah. I did, you know. So, like, she always played into it, which is very funny, by the way, because she didn't care, you know.
And one of the reasons, man, why I respect you so much is that, like, everything you do, like, you do it for her still.
Everything.
And you keep her in mind. And you just said something that is very important.
I don't even know what I said.
You said you just ran a marathon.
I did.
The New York City Marathon.
The New York City Marathon. That's a lot.
And, you know, when we cut and do breaks, which people don't see because we edit it, you be limping, man.
A little bit. Yeah.
So, like,
it's only been 9 days. Yeah, I'm in a lot better shape than I was last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still hurting a little bit.
But tell us about that journey, man. You know, I watched it, me and you talked, and you didn't stop. Man.
No, I didn't. So
and now I understand it a little more when you tell me, you know, like, you know, reading it and hearing it from your own voice.
Yeah.
It's a little more special for me.
Yeah.
Hearing you talk to us about G and how special she was. Yeah. And how special she still is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just tell us about the marathon and why you did it, and, you know, and how people can support brain cancer. And, you know, just still, you know, running for Gigi.
Yep. So I always enjoyed running. Running actually helped me out a lot in high school. I ran cross country my senior year, but you're talking 3-4 mile runs.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I ever did. A lot of times the last 15, 20 years, I wouldn't work out all winter. I'd always put on like 20 pounds, going to Knicks games, Ranger games. Spring comes along, I start playing basketball again. I start my little 3-mile runs. Never took it to the next level. Over the years, people would say, Ant, would you ever run a marathon? Because you like to go for your little 3-4 mile jogs. I was like, I don't think so, but if I ever got a chance to run the New York City Marathon, I feel like I wouldn't pass it up. I've said this for 20 years, but never actually thought it would happen. So now, fast forward to April of 2022. Since G passed, I don't drink much. I don't do drugs, but God damn it, I love food.
Yeah.
And so that was a major coping mechanism after G passed, was just eating. And I would go to our favorite restaurants, even just by myself sometimes, and I feel like I'd order like 9 entrees. And, you know what I'm saying? I was eating a lot. I was not working out. I was not playing basketball. I was not running. And, you know, if you do that for a year and a half straight, give or take, you're going to put on a pound or 2 or 40.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was good math. You rounded it. Yeah. I seen that.
Yeah.
Multiplication.
So my great friend, Kirsten Kincaid, who helps run the Iron Map Foundation, which helped us a lot when G was sick. What the foundation does is, if your kid has brain cancer, they basically take your bills and pay them. So they don't give you like cash, but like give me your car payment, give me your rent payment, give me your insurance payment, and you never have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Amazing program.
So I'm very close with them. And Kirsten reached out and said, what do you think about running the marathon? As I'm eating like a burger. I'm like, the marathon? I said, it is springtime. I was going to start my little jogs, but the marathon, she's like, Aunt, how about, and this time I'm 40 pounds heavier.
Wow.
She said, how about I'll sign you up, start running, and see where we're at in a few months. So I'm like, shit, if I'm going to do the marathon, I have to overtrain probably because I'm bigger and I need to lose the weight to run the marathon. So I start running around late April, 3 miles, 4 miles. I've run from my house to then I eventually got to 6, 7, 8 miles. Now it's mid-May. I'm up to 8 miles running. No results yet physically. I'm like, how come I haven't lost weight yet? And then I say by early July, the weight started to come off. Now up to 9 miles, 10 miles. August comes. Now the weight's really starting to come off. I'm looking sexy.
There we go.
And summertime. Now.
Summertime comes and I'm up to 12 miles, 13 miles. And I'd say by mid-August, I'm like, I always knew I was going to do it. But by mid-August, I knew I was going to do it.
Nice.
September comes around. I'm 15-mile runs, 14-mile runs. October comes, I do my 18-mile run, my 20-mile run. And all those runs prepared me for the race, but nothing could really prepare me for the race until you do it.
Yeah.
So all summer, I envisioned the race in my head. It was going to be, you guys are from New York, so you know our weather.
Yeah, exactly.
I envisioned 40 to 55 degrees.
Yeah.
Probably dark.
Yep.
Maybe a little rain, maybe a little snow. Wearing a hoodie, maybe some tights. That's how I pictured the race was going to be. Sure enough, the week of the race, 70 degrees every day.
It made no sense
and humid. So I don't mind running in the heat, but the humidity is where it gets you when it comes to running. When you're just chilling, it's whatever. So
breathing.
The race, it's race day, and my coach, and Kirsten was also my coach. She was like, I know you're probably drinking a lot of water anyway, but like really drink a lot of water leading up to the race. So from Wednesday to Sunday, I must have drank 300 ounces a day.
Wow.
And so when I first started training, I told people this, and I was dead wrong. It's only a race. It's only a run. I've run 5Ks before. It's not going to change my life.
Yeah.
People said it's going to change your life. I was like, I don't know. The week of, man, so I didn't post I was doing the marathon until August because I wanted to make sure I was comfortable. So the week of, man, I felt like everybody was reaching out to me, wishing me good luck. It felt like people were telling me how much I was inspiring them because I didn't really even start posting my runs until June, July. And people, saw how I looked in May and how I look now. Big difference. And everybody was texting me good luck, telling me how much I inspired them. Like, this is bigger than just the run. And then I said,
so I wasn't just like the only person.
No.
I definitely see you eating a big one, running 20 miles. I was like, all right, this is my life. That's the life I need to live. You just eating heroes and running. And City Island at that. I'm like, okay, like this is like
my goal. So I figured I need to have a goal for the race.
Yeah.
Figured I probably wasn't going to win it. So my goal was to not stop once, unless I had to go to the bathroom. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I will not stop and walk. And if you do stop and walk, there's nothing wrong with that. But this is my goal. So the race starts. Miles 1 to 14 was all physical. Damn. I was in a groove. Like I was running about a 9:30 pace. The races, a lot of hills, a lot of inclines.
Yeah.
Going through Brooklyn, the crowd is lit.
Nice.
It is lit.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, my pace is about 9 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm thinking to myself, and throughout the summer and the early fall, I never really hit a lot of walls running. So I'm thinking, yo, I might finish the marathon faster than I thought. Because mile 13, so now mile 13, I go past Long Island City. I see some friends there. I say, what's up? Going through Brooklyn, fans that have their hands out for high fives. I'm high fiving everybody.
Nice.
To get to mile 13 and 14, I'm thinking I'm going to finish a lot faster than I thought. Bro, all of a sudden, I hit the Queensboro Bridge. And now it's raining. It's the lower level. And the Queensboro Bridge, I always knew it was long. I didn't realize how long it was till you run it.
You put that in good perspective. You're like, hold on, it's long.
The Queensboro Bridge is a 2-mile incline.
Wow.
2 miles. And there's no aid stations. There's no water. And it's on the lower level. It is depressing. People are throwing up. People are pulling muscles. People are sitting down. People are, the side road on the bridge.
Yeah.
People were just hanging out. They're just like, I'm not doing it. Bro, to say I hit a wall would be an understatement. I went from running a 9:30 mile to my next 2-3 miles being about 13 minutes each.
Oh my God.
But I never stopped. And I remember my sister's voice is always in my head. I think of her 24/7 all the time. But when I was on that bridge, she always talked about not quitting. She always said she would never quit. And I heard her voice on the bridge saying, never quit. I said, I can't stop. And I kept going. And then I got over the bridge, and then you hit First Avenue. And First Avenue it's like the NBA Finals. People are going wild. And I said to myself, let me get that second wind. Dog, I never got that second wind. And now I got about 10 miles left. You just ran 60. I mean, you're good at math. You just ran 16 miles. You still got 10 more to go. And now I'm like, this is all mental now. Either I want it or I don't. Because that wind is not coming. Once I ran another mile, I had 9 to go. I knew I wasn't getting a second wind. You either finish this motherfucker or you're not.
Yeah.
You're going to walk or you're not. My goal is to not walk. I just chugged up First Avenue. Then you got to hit the 149th Street Bridge.
Damn.
This was probably about 3/4 of a mile. Another incline. You can go through the Bronx. Then you got to go over the Madison Avenue Bridge.
Damn.
And I just kept going and chugging and chugging and chugging. And I was hurting. Just my whole body. Every time you go through an aid station, just grab a cup of water quick. Because of the massive heat, if it was 40, 50 degrees, I probably would have grabbed water 3 times in the race.
Yeah.
Because of the temperature, I grabbed water at every station. The aid stations towards the end of the race, they ran out of cups. So if you wanted a quick drink, they poured it in your mouth.
Oh, damn.
That's how bad it was.
You got to stop for that, though?
What's that?
You got to stop for that?
I would just be like, boom, keep going,
Yeah.
And then you get into Central Park where the end of the race is, and you feel like it's almost over, but yet you still got 3 miles. Central Park, full of hills.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you go out of Central Park by the Plaza Hotel, then back in Central Park. And then all of a sudden, man, you see mile 20. There's a sign for every mile. And I see mile 26. That last 0.2 felt like 26 miles. And then I crossed the finish line. I ran the finish, and I was numb. And I made a video right away, actually, after I crossed the finish line. It's in on my page. And I was like, I just ran the New York City Marathon, and the pain of losing my sister and the pain that I'm in will never go away. And I'm okay with that because that pain is love. But crossing that finish line to me felt like a new beginning of life. It really did.
Yo, man.
Damn.
You dope, bro.
Gotta clap it up for you, man.
You fucking dope,
Definitely.
man. That's for real, man. Shout out to you, bro.
Thank you.
That is amazing. Keep limping.
Gladiator.
Keep limping.
Thank you. And I didn't.
It's genetics.
And I'm all about admitting when I'm wrong. I didn't think the race was gonna be life changing like that, but it was. It really was, because it was so hard. The 20-mile run I did the month before, it wasn't hard. Just 3.5 laps around Central Park. Don't get me wrong, I was tired. This was hard. It was hard. And the first 10, 12 miles, everybody's happy running. Nobody was, from the 59th Street Bridge and after, nobody in that race was happy. But that's why it's so joyful and means so much at the end, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. It was so hard and difficult. And like I said, my sister never quit. All I had to do was run. How could I even stop? And if I did, that would have been okay, but that wasn't my goal. My goal was to not stop and finish the fucking race, and I did. You know?
Oh, man, you amazing, man. How does that gold medal feel on your neck, man?
It felt,
I seen your pictures are amazing.
Yeah, I did retire it now. It will be going in a frame, but it feels amazing. It felt, that first few days just walking around the city with it. Because every time I would see somebody with, I'm sure you've all done it. When you see somebody wearing the medal, you say congrats.
Yeah.
You never think that's going to be you one day. Bro, that was the coolest thing ever, walking around Manhattan that night and the next 2 days. Oh, I didn't go to Manhattan Monday, but I went there Tuesday. Bro, everybody, congrats. It was the coolest feeling, man.
How much money did you raise?
I raised almost $7,000 for families for children's brain cancer.
Are you still raising, or
it's
waiting for next year?
By the time this airs, it'll be done, but you can go to the Iron Mat Foundation.
Are you going to run again next year?
Yes.
So guess what?
Yes.
You got your first $1,000.
Thank you.
Professional Winner Podcast is giving you your first $1,000 for next year's run.
Yes,
Not just that motivation, man. You got to run something.
Yo.
You should start with 5K.
Start with a
Anthony.
5K.
Don't start
Exactly.
Are you going to train me?
No, not at all.
I don't think I'm a trainer.
Anthony gonna be like, yo, let's eat this pasta. I'm like, hold on. I like that idea. All right, now let's run. No.
Have a nice chicken cutlet, bacon hero.
Hold on, this on camera. Next year, 2023 marathon.
2020, you're going to do it.
No. I'm not. Hold on, relax.
Oh, okay.
Professional Winner Podcast giving $1,000.
As soon as I have the new link for next year.
Send it straight to me. You got my number.
Yes, I do.
$1,000.
Yeah,
Done.
but you have to raise X amount, so that'll be a good start to my fundraising.
That's a
next
great
year.
start. I got you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't donate this year. I didn't even
okay.
pay attention to the link.
It's okay.
I was too busy trying to go to Knicks games. With
It's
you.
okay.
I was only paying attention to all the Knicks events.
my goal for next year, again, probably not winning it. So my goal is to enjoy the last 10 miles. I don't even care about my time.
That is an amazing goal.
Because I feel I didn't enjoy First Avenue and Fifth Avenue in the park. I did not enjoy it.
That's a beautiful place to enjoy.
I did not enjoy it. I enjoyed going through Brooklyn and Queens.
I work on First Avenue every day. It's a beautiful place to enjoy.
First Avenue was my stomping grounds in my early 20s. There was a bar on 87th and 1st called Aces and Eights where you pulled up at 9 p.m. on Friday or Saturday. They gave you a cup, plastic cup, $10 at the door, all the draft beer you wanted until 12 o'clock.
They still do that?
No, this is back in
that's crazy.
05, 06. But anyway,
05, 06, I was 9.
right, I was 21.
Wow.
So my goal for and I might have new goals going into next year, but as of right now, my goal for the marathon next year is to enjoy the last 10 miles, which that means this summer and spring, a lot of hill training.
Are you still running now after the marathon?
I
or
just
you
ran my first run Sunday. I ran 3 miles Sunday and I ran 5 miles yesterday. I did not run today.
Wow.
Probably going to go for a light run tomorrow, but I'm not going to crank it up till probably February or March. But I'm going to do consistent small runs. I'm going to get back to playing some basketball now, but I'm going to make that 59th Street Bridge my bitch next year.
Nice. You're right. That sounds like a David Goggins quote right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to go park in Queensbridge Projects and just run across that bridge.
Yeah.
Like twice. Because also, you can't start your run on that bridge because then it'd be easy. Remember, you're hitting that bridge at mile 14.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So I might not run 14 miles for the bridge next year, but what I'll do is I think I can see myself parking in like Queens, go for a 3, 4, 5 mile run, then hit the bridge. I'm making that bridge mine next year. And I want to, no, so I'm sure I'll hit a wall again next year, but I don't want it to be at mile 14.
Yeah.
Let it be at mile 21, 22, and I only got 3, 4 miles left. So that's my goal for next year. Get a better time, which I just probably will, probably get in even better shape, but enjoy the last 10. I did not enjoy the last 10.
What can you say to someone who's like just trying to run, but like, you know, they hit that wall? You know,
it's all mental.
There?
It's all mental, and I'm not like I don't have an exact answer. I wanted it so bad, and also I felt like I posted about it so much. I felt like
you didn't want to make an ass of yourself,
right? And now, granted, if I didn't finish the marathon, is anyone going to look at me different? Like, let's say I said I couldn't run past mile 20. Is anyone going to look at me any different? No one's gonna. They're like, you tried. But for me, I was like, I have to finish this. I can't let anybody down.
Wow.
Even though I wouldn't have, but like. That's how I looked at it, you know?
Well, you had something that most people didn't have, and that was your sister, man.
Yep. And like I said, I heard her voice throughout the race, but especially on the 59th Street Bridge.
Wow.
On that bridge when she was just like, never quit.
That is,
you know?
That's amazing, man.
And she used to wear a hoodie to radiation that said quitting is not an option. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man.
So all I was doing was running. She was fighting for her life, so it was easy.
Now you know,
as hard as it was easy.
Now you know next year during the run you got to wear that same shirt or hoodie of that.
Yeah.
We got to make that
an option.
That was a lot. I'll send you some pictures of her wearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's beautiful, man. Now Anthony MSG, before the world got to know about Gigi on a massive level, you was still that guy.
Yeah.
You was that guy. But I want to take it back early. Yeah. When did the love, like, at first, backtrack. Yeah. At first, I used to think, you know, Spike Lee is the biggest fan because he had money.
Right.
So when I was young, I used to budget, like, what would it take? How much money I need?
Yeah.
How successful I need to be to go to every Knicks game,
Right.
go to every Yankee game, and be the number one Knicks and Yankees fan. And Giants.
Right.
I might like the Giants better than both.
Yeah.
That's the difference between us.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen off of football over the years.
I love football.
Yeah.
I probably, like, you go to every Knicks game, I go to every Giants game.
Right. Oh, you go to the Giants.
Oh yeah, we there. And we in the front.
Okay.
But they don't give me no deals.
Right.
I don't got it like you.
Yeah.
I gotta pay, but I'm there, you know. But besides every other Sunday, I'm in the hospital working. But yeah, so I'm there. And I used to always be like, yo, I'm the biggest Knicks fan.
Yeah.
No, the world just don't know. And then I met you.
Yeah.
I'm not. The way you can react, times, dates, and facts, and you correlate. I'm like, all right, this dude's the real deal. I think you might be bigger than Spike Lee.
Oh, I definitely am.
Oh, okay. He said it. I didn't say it. Spike. You know, if you want to give me free tickets. Well, Anthony already gave me nice tickets. Never mind. Get you, Spike. But where did that love come from? Because
it's funny with my Knicks love. I got my love for the Yankees, the Giants, the Rangers from my uncle and other family members. Nobody in my family really cared for basketball that much, like the Knicks that much. So I kind of started to like basketball before I moved upstate, and I started watching the Knicks in 4th grade. When I got upstate, there was no hockey, so I really developed a love for the game of basketball, and I really started to like the colors. Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason. And then around the playoffs in 1993, the Knicks were playing the Pacers in the first round, and John Starks headbutted Reggie Miller. A lot of things happened, and something took over my whole body, my soul, and I went from like liking the Knicks casually to like them being my whole life. Wow. And it was like, this is back in 4th grade. I wasn't just going to be a Knicks fan. I was going to be the biggest Knicks fan in the world, and I made myself that. And I went to a Knicks game a year later for the first time, April 2nd, 1994. Went to my first Knicks game ever.
Stop it, man. This dude, yo, you embarrassing me right now. I'm about to just start, like, get a history lesson on the Knicks, man.
I had been in Madison Square Garden twice before. I went to a Rangers game before a Knicks game, and I went to the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus before a Knicks game.
Wow.
But going to a Knicks game, I never experienced anything like that in my life. From everything from seeing the court live, seeing the players, the seats, the fans, the public address announcer Mike Washevsky, the way he said Patrick Ewing and Derek Harper. I was in love with the Knicks before I went. When I went for the first time, I was everything to me. And then literally the Knicks have been my life really ever since.
Wow.
Your first Knicks game, I wasn't even born yet.
It's crazy.
I was about to say the same thing, man.
Crazy. I know I'm getting up there.
That's crazy.
Now.
How did you get
April,
involved?
I got an internship with
No. We're going to back that up, Gabe.
Yeah.
You got to ask that. How do you become the man of the Knicks? How do you get into a documentary with HBO with Linsanity?
I just think
how do you run their events?
I was around. I built relationships organically. I met the right people, and I've been involved. I don't work for the Knicks directly. I do a lot of work with them. I've been doing stuff with them for 15 years. Yeah. Much more the last 7 or 8, but like I've been cool with the organization for a very long time, and it all happened organically. Just kind of happened. I met the right people. And I've been a fixture in the organization for a very long time.
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
So what would you say your position is now?
I mean, I don't have a position. It's whatever you think. It's, number one fan, content creator, event host person, whatever.
First Knick event. Take us back.
The Knick event that I hosted was at a bar in 2010 at a place called Traffic. And the event was actually... we had these T-shirts that said a dream. I think the T-shirt said a dream we can all believe in, with LeBron James in a Knicks uniform. And it was
around. All right, I got you.
It was about a month before my sister got sick for the first time. I mean, she was already starting to get sick, but like a month before she got diagnosed with cancer the first time, I hosted an event at Traffic. So I had started my Knicks show the year prior. And like 20, 30 people came. Like they wanted to meet me and stuff.
Wow.
And it
That's
was
awesome.
cool. That was the first event I ever hosted back in 2010.
But I'm going to say here, if you haven't been to an Anthony MSG Knick event, it is an experience.
Thank you.
It is an experience. Thank you for inviting my family out.
My pleasure. Thank you guys.
We had
for
a
coming.
great time. My kids had a great time. My wife had a great time. She kept asking me everybody's name. It was annoying. But other than that, the seats was great. Going on the court was an amazing experience. So I appreciate you for offering that.
My pleasure. Thank you
to my family, man, for real. Oh, and I got to send you money, man. I want to go to the next one.
I got 3 in December.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, we out.
The one December 7th, which I haven't announced yet. I think everybody that comes gets to shoot a free throw after the game, and you get a professional photo of you taking the shot.
Hey.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, I should be.
Is that Luka?
No, that's December 3rd.
Which
that's
Atlanta
Hawks on a Saturday.
No, but what team?
The Atlanta's the free throw game.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yep.
Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
Oh, so that's Trey Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So how you feel about the Knicks right now?
Right now, we're not playing the greatest basketball in the world, so I hope we can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
So, I still love them, still rooting for them. And it's early in the season, and hopefully we can figure this stuff out.
So we just play OKC.
Yeah.
So a lot of rumors we want that boy Shea.
I would love Shea. I would go pick him up in OKC and drive him to New York.
37 on us?
Yeah, he's really good.
37.
He's really good. I would love to get a hold of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Leading the lead in points in the paint?
Yeah, he's really good.
Also, I got to say another thing. There's a guy I keep hearing about that Anthony keep talking to me about.
Who's this?
That helps with the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh. What's his name, bro?
Tony?
Tony?
What's his name?
The cameraman?
No, he's the cameraman. Troy Press?
Troy Press.
Brooklyn versus Knicks. Y'all got to play 1-on-1.
I don't know Troy personally. I mean, I know who he is. Maybe he knows who I am. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I'll play him 1-on-1.
I got a really good idea, actually.
And no, shout out to Troy. We just playing, yo. I heard the guy's amazing, doing a lot of things with the Brooklyn Nets. Shout out to Troy.
So, Troy versus you. Team captains, you have whoever you want on your team.
Influencers.
But there's bets placed.
Right. I don't bet.
No. The bets go to whoever you want to be donating to.
Okay.
It's not even a bet.
It's not a bet.
Raise money.
You're raising money for whoever.
5-on-5 game?
Whoever you want, influencer-wise, they can bring whoever they want. Everyone's raising money towards.
Okay. Let me know.
Whatever they want.
Let me know.
Yo, sponsored by the professional on the podcast.
Let me know.
I'll put some money up. We get some hosts.
How do you feel about the Nets?
I don't like the Nets.
We don't like the Nets. Hold on. Let's read it. We don't like the Nets.
Yeah.
And anyway.
But you still think the Knicks is better than the Nets?
Oh. No, we don't think that. Matter of fact, then KD just dropped his mic. Yo, why KD was doing that to all the Knicks fans?
I know.
Why he was doing that to all the Knicks fans, bro? That little girl was like this. He was like...
That hurt.
And he did that without Kyrie on the court.
No, but seriously, Anthony
Matter of fact,
MSG versus Troy Press, Knicks versus Nets.
Let's do it.
Let me know.
I think that's
Let me know.
Anthony with it. So if Troy is not with it, that means he's scared. Facts.
That's a fact.
That's facts.
I'm sorry, that is a fact.
That is some Brooklyn. That is some type of Brooklyn
but that is a
stuff.
fact.
That is some type of Brooklyn net stuff. They would be scared. They would be scared of the Garden, the best arena in New York City.
Nah, this episode
the best fans.
earlier now. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we dropping this next week, man. If you done the podcast with us, I'm sorry. We got a long list of people waiting. This coming out next week. Yo, send us to Troy, man. Shout out to. Man, no, I was about to say shout out to the Nets. Forget the Nets.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Man.
Yeah, man. Yo,
why you're a Yankee fan?
How did you feel when KD and Kyrie decided to go to the Nets and not the Knicks?
I was sad. I wanted Kevin Durant bad on the Knicks.
I was sad, man.
I was a little worried about getting Kyrie just because he's always kind of all over the place with injuries and just life stuff, obviously, as we see now. But I wanted KD really bad. And I really thought he was coming here. I really did. And he didn't, and it's over. But I was upset about Kevin Durant. I wanted to come. I thought he was coming to the Knicks, and I wanted him to come to the Knicks.
Yeah, I've been bitter for a while. My theory is for Giants, right? If the Giants don't win, I always say, go Jets.
Right.
I'm not gonna go to a game.
I'll never say go Nets.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I don't hate. I'm a big.
I'm not doing it.
I don't hate the Mets.
Yeah, me either.
I don't cheer for the Mets, but I went to a couple Met games last year. Actually, the vibe is really good.
No, I feel like that. If the Giants or Yankees are out, I'm like, yo, if New York win, great for them.
Right.
If the Jets. But no, if the Knicks are out, I don't want the Nets to win.
I'll never root for the Knicks.
I don't want the Nets to win. That's how I feel. And it's crazy. I live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I live 10 minutes from Barclays. And guess what? I never walked in the arena.
Right.
Dang.
And I don't plan on it. Unless Anthony tell me we out.
That's a fact. I was supposed to go last week, but I was too tired from the race.
No, it's not because you was tired. You was like, it's the Barclays. We
No, I've
go
been
there
there many times.
Oh, come on. You were supposed to say that on camera. Yo,
We're
nah.
less than 5 minutes away right now.
Bro, 5 minutes? We 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
When we walk out of here, the Barclays is right there.
It's very close.
It's very close, yeah. This is where we at, man.
Yes.
This is where we at. And I don't go to no events there. They always like, yo, let's go. Like, no.
Yeah.
No. I'll get on the train. I'll drive my car. I'll pay $100 in parking at the Garden. That's where we going.
That's a fact.
I'll be down to go. I don't know if I'm gonna take that free throw shot though.
What, to the Garden?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I take that.
He have done pick up basketball with us, man. That's not Gabe's.
I am baseball. I grew up playing baseball. I do baseball.
Yo, so Anthony, we always ask the most important question of the podcast. The last one.
Sure.
What is a professional winner to you, my brother?
Professional winner is just being happy with your life. Hopefully not doing bad things. I'm just coming up with this answer off the cuff, by the way.
Yeah.
Just being happy with your life. Hopefully got your bills paid and you're making others happy. Maybe doing something inspiring and eating good and being happy. I don't know.
No, it's up to you, man.
Yeah.
That's the perfect answer. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I thank you so much for being vulnerable today with the audience.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
My homie brother, my Knick brother, my Yankee brother. I don't watch hockey, but I support the Rangers because they from New York. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing, man.
Thank you guys.
That was
you're the best, man.
Thank you.
And again, everything we said here will be seen. So don't not let nobody give a donation without professional podcast doing it first, all right?
Sounds
We
good.
first. We got to be the first ones.
I'm excited to read the book, not to even listen to the book.
Yeah.
That's an experience
We
itself.
got some big things to announce hopefully in the next few months.
Yeah. Anthony
I'll
is
have to
going to
come
be
back
moving.
on for that, but
Definitely.
Yeah. Anthony's going to be moving in a great direction. He's going to keep changing the world, man. And we're going to keep doing it for Gigi.
Thank you.
So Team Gigi, the podcast supporter, this episode is actually for her.
Thank you.
Even though you're a superstar, she's bigger in my
Absolutely.
eyes.
100%.
But yo, appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you so
for real.
much.
Thank you, man. We are out.